Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Bad Brad and Little Ace. Now look at this little guy. Look at this guy. He is probably the most troublemaking thing you have ever had. Is this video going to be all about that, Ace? Man, here's the thing. Usually when I start one of these videos, I usually have something in mind, but I thought today I would just freeform it. Let's freeform it. We've got Ace, and here's the thing, man. Since we've gotten Ace, it has been more difficult to do the channel because I get up before everybody in the family gets up. And I try to, shoot a couple of videos. That way I can edit during the day while I'm helping the family out and all that. But, when I get up first thing in the morning, now Ace sleeps in a crate because he's not cooperative. When you put him in the bed, he likes to chew on the pillowcases and he likes to just wreak complete havoc. So he sleeps in a crate. I'll get up in the morning. The crate is in the living room. And immediately when I come in here, I start to hear him stir. And that means he's going to start barking, right? And I want to let my wife sleep in. I want to let my daughter sleep in. After all, today that I'm shooting this is a Sunday morning. And Sunday morning, my wife doesn't work. And, so, I try to let them sleep in and, that way they can do their weekend stuff. And look, here's the reality. I'm in here still working all weekend. That's what I have to do to keep this channel going. But Ace, he has other plans, right? Ace wants to go to their door while I'm trying to shoot videos and start scratching. Now, the first thing I do after I take him out and let him do his business, right? And then I bring him inside and I give him one of those little busy bones. It's like a dental stick. And I would think for most dogs, it would take a little while. That would occupy them for a while. He somehow is able to chew up one of those things and devour it in no time. So then you've got wild man Ace running around the house. Anything he can get into, he gets into. If you leave a receipt or something that falls on the floor, he will chew it up. He will destroy it. If you leave a plastic bag, if somehow ends up on the floor, he will grab that and start tearing that up. And the other thing, he'll go to my wife's door and he'll start just relentlessly scratching at the door. Well, it would be okay if I were able to put him in there and he'd get in there and get under the covers and snuggle like most Chihuahuas will do that. No, he will get in the bed and immediately wake up my wife. If Mia has decided to get in there with my wife, he will wake her up. There is no chill. There is zero chill with this dog. So now I'm going to attempt to keep him here so that we can do this video and provide some great content for this channel. But everything in life, and here's the lesson, right? Everything in life that you take on is gonna make doing what you want to do more difficult. Now, it can be rewarding, but as you can see, even just trying to get him to just chill out, little Ace, chill out, okay? Everything's okay. Yeah. Everything is okay. Everything you plan to do is going to make things difficult. The reason why a lot of musicians are single is because they have a singular focus. And their singular focus is on, making it in music. And sometimes making it is just paying the bills, paying the rent, and having a few bucks, left over for some frivolity or to put some food in the fridge, man. But, I think, it becomes more difficult the more you take on. Now, all of us musicians, we end up, having relationships and things like that. And sometimes those things can help, but most of the time it can take you away. Now, there was somebody in the comments recently who told a story. And, once again, this channel, if you've watched my videos, go to the comment section and you will find it's a treasure trove. But this guy had told this story of a band. The band was a few years older than them, and they had this amazing lead singer, blonde lead singer, male, looked incredible, could move, could sing. I mean, the guy was a star. He was a star. And this is a classic case. Now, if anybody out there has experienced this, but he gets in a relationship, right? Some girl, because he's a star, and because he is attractive. Look, when you're on stage and you're firing on all cylinders, man, people are going to be attracted to that. That is a desirable trait, right? People see, look, it doesn't matter how much money in your bank account. If you're a star, people will notice it. People will notice talent. People will notice that you have incredible ability, right? And so this girl sees him, grabs him, claims him, right? And gets in a relationship with this guy. Well, she proceeds to basically, tell him, I don't want you performing like that. You're in a relationship now. Made him change the way he performed, made him change who he was as a person, made him change his performance style, pulled him away from what he naturally was, his natural ability. Some people have a natural ability to perform on stage. And sometimes it could be very sexual. I mean, my thing, man, when I was out in LA is, I was really a child of Hendrix, right? People used to call me Hendrix son. And I love to do the Jimi Hendrix, the hammer-ons, and flick the tongue in time with it and point and, and do all this stuff. And man, the girlfriend I had at the time, it drove her crazy. She hated when I did that. Why do you do that? And, and all this. And man, she didn't get it. She wasn't a Jimi Hendrix fan. She, and she would have preferred that I didn't do that. But for me, I was too stubborn. I'm not going to listen to anybody say, hey, that's my act. That's what I do. That's part of who I am. And, I knew that we were up there. We were just swinging things on stage. We were just, sexual props for girls to stare at. That's what the Sunset Strip was all about. And so once I got on stage, man, I performed as if I was the most single guy in the room. And, that's just the way it is, man. I mean, there's a separation from the stage and from real life. And the person that you're on stage can attract people, but, it's important to set a boundary and not make it like, it's an act. In a way, it's an act. You are a actor or a character on stage. You become this other character. But you've got to remember, once you get off the stage, to take off that cape. You're no longer that character anymore. Now, once you get off stage, remember, you're the guy that's got to pay the light bill. You're the guy that's got to pay the phone bill. You're the guy that's got to take out the trash when you get home. You're not Superman. It doesn't matter if you're making millions or you're making a fistful of ones. You're not Superman. You're just a regular human being who has talent and skill and is able to perform. So, once this girl with this blonde singer who was this amazing talent, once she has destroyed his performance, once she changed who he was, she dumped him. And he was now not even the same person. She had changed him, right? And what did she do? She went on to some other guy who was on stage and performing and being a superstar. So that is an important lesson, man. Don't let anyone change who you are. Girls will oftentimes see a musician and know that, hey, this guy's kind of wild, but I can change him. And it's the same thing with guys. A lot of times we'll go for the wild ones because they can be fun. It can be a lot of fun to date some girl who's out of control and all this. But the reality is, you can't change them, man. You can't change, don't try to change people. If people want to change, they need to do it on their own. It's just like if somebody is an alcoholic, you can try and tell them and you can try to help them. But until they're ready to be helped, until they're ready to make a change, it's probably not going to happen. And that's the reality of it, man. People and things, man, it's like this. Being a performer is a very difficult thing. And not many people have all the traits. My time in LA trying to find the perfect lead singer, we could not find one. We would have serious flaws in sometimes many parts of, look, you need to be able to perform. You need to be able to sing. You need to be able to look good. You need to be able to have stage presence. You need to be able to move. You need to be able to talk between songs. It's one thing if you're a punk band and all your songs run into each other and it's just high energy and then you go off the stage. But man, most performers need to be able to, hey, we've got an issue on stage. Guitar amps down. Talk to the audience. And just someone that has the natural ability to do that is rare. Yeah, I know. Someone who has that natural ability to perform, someone who checks all the boxes. And look, man, I would say that if you find somebody who checks like 3 boxes, can sing, looks good, and is a good performer, those are the 3. Being able to talk between songs, that would be a bonus. Being able to dance, that would be a bonus. Those are the shaka bra of Rockstar. But man, sing, looks good, can perform. Those are the top 3 that you pretty much must have. And by perform, man, that could be anything. That could be having stage presence and commanding, Lane Staley of Alice in Chains, you wouldn't say that he was a mover and, talked between songs, but he had a presence when he commanded that mic. And as still as he was, it was a performance. He was pulling you in to the performance. So there's many different ways to define, performing. That's not the same thing for everybody. Not everybody can be David Lee Roth. Not everybody can be Steven Tyler. Not everybody can be Elvis Presley. And if you think of those 3 guys, Three great singers, three great frontmen, if you will. Granted, Elvis was a solo artist, but, he always fronted a band. Three entirely different performance styles. And so everybody's got to have their own thing, their own ability, their own style. And if you find somebody like that, you got to hope that they stay focused and that somebody doesn't grab them off that stage and try to change them. Because, man, it is one of the hardest things in the world is to find a great lead singer. And when you find one, now you got to keep them that way.